everyone! Today we're going to psychoanalyze the character of Lieutenant Columbo. For those of you who don't know, Columbo is the star of a show by the same name, Columbo. It aired from 1971 to 1978, and then again from 1989 to 2003. The show is typically in the format of reverse whodunit, where you see how the crime was committed at the beginning, and you watch as Lieutenant Columbo figures it all out.
You know, in a way, I have to congratulate you. Up until now, you really had me going. I mean, here you are, you're a surgeon, a man that's gotta be cool. Even when you're angry, you're controlled. You never lose yourself. That's why it struck me funny when you blew up in the operating room and you grabbed me and pushed me. I mean, you know, there was only one thing we didn't search. You know what it was? It was me.
It goes without saying that Columbo is a shaggy character. His old beige raincoat, messy hair, old Peugeot car, and frequent cigar smoking shows that perhaps he's not the most conscientious of people. In fact, he seems to fit the bill of the more absent-minded professor type, which is in stark contrast to more sleek characters like James Bond or Sherlock Holmes. But perhaps this is more a front for others to let their guard down around him. Here's what Peter Falk, the actor who plays Columbo, has to say about this character.
Columbo doesn't care whether or not you think he's a little slow. He doesn't care if they think, oh, you're very average, or he doesn't.
Columbo often asks questions to the suspects and perpetrators that indicates that he knows very, very little of what's going on. And because of this, the perpetrators happily cooperate with him. They, share information, and they think that Columbo will just believe whatever they say to be true, even if it isn't. And, it often appears to be the case, but eventually they realize that Columbo knows more than he's letting out. And often, by this point, it's too late, and he already has them framed. So, is Columbo agreeable? Well, that's hard to say. I mean, he certainly appears to be agreeable. He builds rapport, he's very kind, but I do think he's a very deeply critical person, and I think even when he appears to be agreeing, he's not actually agreeing inside. I think that he's just doing that for other people to let their guard down around him. So we've touched a bit on agreeableness and conscientiousness, but what about the other ocean traits? Well, you can see throughout the episodes that he, like I mentioned, builds rapport with suspects and the perpetrators. In fact, he often invites them out for dinner, spends time with them in their personal dwellings, and, almost even bonds with them. So I'd say he's also high on extroversion. I mean, that's clear as day. He doesn't have any problems talking to anyone. He'll often just, touch a stranger on the shoulder and start conversation with them. And additionally, he rarely gets angry, shows almost no emotion. So I think it's also pretty clear as day that he's not a very neurotic person either. It's kind of an interesting observation that every Columbo episode has a kind of theme to it. And what I mean by that is that it often revolves around a certain hobby or a certain career. For example, it might take place in an art studio or a winery or, at a photographer's house, something like this. And in order to solve many of the crimes committed in these types of environments, Columbo learns some niche, little-known information about this career or hobby, and usually it turns out to be an integral part of how the crime was committed itself. In addition to this, Columbo, the character, is often a fish out of water. Like I mentioned, he's kind of a shoddy, unkempt character, and often surrounded by wealthy, arrogant millionaires. So I think that the fact that he is so different from the people around him, and that he learns all this niche information in every episode, would be a sign that he has high openness and that he thrives in challenging and new environments. Columbo is a difficult character to psychologically analyze for many different reasons, but one of which is that his backstory, despite there being 69 episodes, is revealed very slowly and very sparingly. And of that, you don't even know quite what's real and quite what's fake, but What we do know is that he was born to 2 Italian-American parents, and he hints at the fact that he grew up in New York, which you can also hear by his accent. Additionally, he says that his childhood hero was Joe DiMaggio, who was a New York Yankee. And in the episode Make Me a Perfect Murder, he says that the Columbo household had 7 siblings altogether, 6 boys and 1 girl. And he says that his memories of his parents is very happy and very fond. During his childhood, Columbo wasn't the best of teens. He joined a crowd of people who often played pranks and broke street lamps and things like that. And he also mentioned gambling, playing things like pinball, and learning how to play pool by his father. And he said that that was part of his motivation to join the police force, is to make up for his past. So that was kind of interesting. But you could also see that this phase of his life developed his street smarts. The fact that he can deceive so easily and play this poker face of sweetness and innocence is really something. Additionally, he can control his emotions. He doesn't get angry despite the perpetrator's growing anger while being questioned by him. Although we almost never get to see close members of Columbo's family, it seems to me that he feels very securely about his relationships. But due to his past, I think that he has 2 different attachment styles. A secure attachment style is to close members of his family, which he always speaks very fondly of. And a dismissive attachment style to everyone else, strangers mostly. One of distrust and looking down on the display of emotions.